All right, ladies, gentlemen, everyone else, we're back. The final PFTP.
PFTP?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, final PFTP. So where do you want to start?
Where do I want to start? Well, where did we leave off?
The last one we left off with this saying that this week it's going to be about values, not values. Why did I say values? About um bio, bio and
Oh,
the future
yeah. What
and the
this
future
is?
direction.
Future direction.
Well, before we even do that, any questions from not questions, anything about the past do you want to bring up or
Mm,
continue on or expand or anything?
no, but I feel like every time you ask me this, you're waiting for me to say something or say no, so you can be like, "All right, well, I do," and then.
No, that was just the last one.
Nah. I mean,
All right, well, I do.
whatever mattered, we edited out and said it.
All right, let's get right into it. Nah, I don't have anything. I was just asking you just in case.
No. Yeah, I'm good.
So then bio and the actual direction topic or the main idea. So bio.
The main idea should just be us.
Wait, what?
What we're gonna talk about should be us.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Um, I don't know. I feel like it's simple, and I want to kind of complicate it by giving this big speech. But nah, it's literally just where we talk about us, our experiences, maybe something we learned or think we learned, debate about it, and yeah, like how we were talking about fentanyl, and I was like, oh, I think this could happen, and then 2 weeks later, you're like, I don't know, like ongoing debates like that, or just stuff we're going through, um, experiencing, looking forward.
But I think that's what all podcasts are. They all talk about themselves.
I would say most.
You're right. I shouldn't say all. I think most do that. So I'm confused as to what you mean by that. Because I think we've done that in the past 50.
I would say we didn't do that. I mean, we may have done it like here and there, brought up little things up, but for the most part, we were more talking about the specific subject. And occasionally we drop in little footnotes of, oh, well, this and this and this because of, whatever I'm going through or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, we did because we had a topic that we would focus on.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm still a little confused. Can you compare it? Which podcast that I know would you say that would not mimic, but like give an example of what you would mean by talking about us?
Um, Shoot, I only listened to like 4, but
Would it be any one of those?
yeah, I mean, Fighter and the Kid, Armchair Expert. I mean, Armchair Expert, he's obviously interviewing whoever he's talking to, but when he asks them a question, how depending on how they answer, he'll be like, "Oh, that's crazy," because in my experience, or when I was growing up, or my mom or my parents, or my time doing this, then he would like give his own like viewpoint on it. So I think That's kind of similar to what I'm thinking. On Fighter and the Kid, they're presented with current events and they talk about it, but they're mainly talking about themselves, their experiences with whatever it is that's being presented to them. Um, and that's how they go on the show. Usually they'll just kind of branch off into talking about other things. Um, but that's usually how it starts.
Right. But I don't know if we can start like that. Cuz you can name off like a whole bunch of different ones that do that, but I don't know if that's how they started. And when I say that is I don't know if that would get us more views or popular just by us doing that. Cuz the goal is to grow it, right?
Yeah. I feel like we need that one viral clip
Mm.
and then people makes people want to tune in for more. And by us putting out stuff where they get to know us more, they can get there, just start eating it all up. Kind of like what Andrew Schultz did.
Yeah. What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean what he did?
With how nobody was watching his specials, so he just started putting out little clips, and occasionally people would catch one because it was like a minute, 2 minutes long, and they were like, "Oh, this guy's funny." And then we see another one, and they would just start going in on smaller little clips, and then eventually, deciding, "Oh, dude, this dude has so many clips that are funny. Let me follow him, or let me find the actual long one, so I don't have to keep on clicking." But
I lost the connection there. What does that have to do with talking about ourselves?
no, I'm saying with like the little viral clip, like to grow it, we would need like some type of viral, like something good enough where it'll get people to actually share it and make people want to be like, "Oh, why this person share? Let me click on this." Could be funny, could be thought provoking, could be anything.
Yeah. No, all right. I see what you mean, but that's after we've talked. But what about the topic that we're going to talk about? Because you're going more into now what we should do, like into the marketing.
Mm-hmm.
But what about what we should talk about? And I agree with that whole thing in clips, and that worked for him, and that might not work for us, but we'll see. But that's after we've talked and it's been recorded and everything. What about before that?
It's kind of hard because we're pretty different, I'd have to say,
What do you mean?
in our own and like stuff we want to talk about. So it's hard to come up with just one thing that we're going to talk about, or one general idea we're going to talk about.
Yeah, that's what we're doing now, and it doesn't have to be one. It could be a bunch of different ones, but that's what we're talking about now. What should we or shouldn't we?
What I have to say, we just talk about ourselves.
Yeah, but then you're confusing me because that's a very vague answer. Talk about ourselves. Well, what does that mean? And then you've said it already. You said our experiences and our point of views. All right, I'm following. How? What do you mean by that? That's still really vague.
I don't know, not really. It's kind of like with what you told me earlier, the whole CBD thing. California schools are allowing you to bring your CBD in if it's medically approved. Well, we could talk about like, oh, how could our lives have been different? I would talk about my views at the time in high school, where I was like, I don't know about the medical marijuana stuff, like signing up for what are they called, green cards?
Medical cards?
They're called medical cards? Why would I think they would be dubbed green cards?
Yeah, they're not really green at all.
But I'm just saying green because weed is green.
Yeah,
I don't know.
medical cards, yeah.
Whatever, your medical card.
Mhm.
Back then I was like, why would I get that? Then you're kind of in a database or whatever. So that's why I was always kind of against it. But then we can, with an open mind, we could have a conversation about how would it have made us look at it differently? Would it have made a different impact in our lives? And so on.
So then it sounds like you're saying we should just bring our own topics, and then I'll bring in something, whatever it is, and then just share it with you, and then you bring in something, and then we'll just go from there.
Yeah?
Yeah. I agree with that. The only, because I've told you before in the last ones, I think we should get something, some niche, or maybe not, to help us. Did I say focus? To focus on, to have something to use. And I say that because when I go online and I see the different categories, I'm trying to put us in a category. And we don't have to go into one, but then if we go in a category, then it would help me to select a topic to talk about, which would then help me to select a bio to write about, which would then help me to focus on whichever consumer is most likely to listen to it.
I get you.
So that's why in the past ones I've kind of said, I think we should get focus on some niche, and I think that'll help us, and we'll fall back on it. And the reason I told you why is that's the reason why. So again, not that we need one, but if we don't have one, then okay. This is the way I'm looking at it. If we have one, two different options. Then there could be more, but I'm looking at two right now. We have one and we don't. Having one would be, we're not going to do this, or maybe we will, but let's say we were history, right? And let's say in this other one, we weren't. If we're history, then I know that I could focus the marketing and everything else on people that are interested in history. So then I know who would most likely be able to listen to it, where to go as in certain Facebook pages, etc. But if we don't, then I guess it just depends on the topic that we talk about. And we could do either or. I'm just saying we should decide on what we're going to do. Because it sounds like you're saying we shouldn't get one. And I'm okay with that. But do you want to do that, or you want to do the other one?
Actually, I am saying we shouldn't get one.
Okay.
Only because it's my opinion that it'd be cool in the beginning, but then it would get kind of tiresome or just repetitive, kind of just not fun.
Like the past 50 episodes.
No, I wouldn't say the past 50.
Oh, I would.
At one point, it just got to the point where I was just like, fuck. There isn't really anything interesting. Let me just pick something.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes it'd be good. Sometimes it'd be shit. Who knows? But it's just... Yeah, there were times where I just much rather have talked about something...
Fucking and sucking. I feel you.
Oh, goddamn. All right. Yeah.
Wow, we're a family-friendly podcast, Steven. Come on. We can't use that vulgar language. You know, when I was doing the Fuckboy Pete thing, do you know they could have removed our podcast if I put fuck in the title of iTunes?
Oh, yeah?
I didn't know that. You could get in trouble for that. That's bullshit. It's weird because you could put it in the description. but you can't put it in the title.
Really?
Yeah.
So did you put F boy?
Yeah, that's why I put F-boy. And then I got...
Without knowing, or you already knew that?
No, I put fuck, and then I was like, I don't see other podcast titles with a curse word in it. And then I started looking for them. I was like, no one has a curse word. And then I started looking at the policy. I was like, because they can't. And then I went to different forums and stuff. And yeah, they were saying it's really weird because they can either demonetize you, which they can't to us because we haven't, or they can remove your episode or your show if you put a curse word in the title. But it's okay to put it in the description. And it's okay to talk about it. To like say vulgar language, but you can't put it in the title.
Huh.
Yeah.
I would have to say just because it's the title is the first thing you see.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
want to learn more, then that's when you look at the description. And
But that should be what the explicit is for. And not that they would take you down, but they had the option to take you down if they wanted to.
damn, that sucks. Well, good eye. I will have to say I probably would have wrote the word F-U-C.
Yeah, I didn't like putting F-boy. That was, I don't know, it didn't have the same punch.
Or if there was a curse word, it was probably with like the asterisk.
You can't do that either.
No?
No. Specifically said you can't write the word or anything that would allude to the word.
So you can't put fork boy Pete?
Oh, probably fork boy, but you know what? I meant like the F, the @ sign, the money sign, and then the hashtag.
Uh-huh.
So it'd be F and then the 3 words or the 3 symbols. Or like B, money, TCH. Bullshit.
Yeah.
So then talk about not anything, but I think we've said it before. Talk about what we want to talk about.
Because this shouldn't be podcast for the people. This should be podcast for us, by us. Piffable.
For us? What? Not really. Well, is it for us?
It's piffable. Podcast for us, by us.
I don't like the for us because it's not really for us. Is it?
Yeah, why not? Well, why wouldn't it be?
Because when I think of for us, it's we're not making it for us.
But we're not making it specifically for anybody else. We don't have anybody telling us what to talk about. If we're talking about whatever we want to talk about, then it's for us.
Now, when I say it's by us, when I say by, it's us doing it and talking about what we would want to talk about. I'm putting the for in the by. Podcast by us. Not for the people. Yeah, podcast by us for the people. And I'm putting the for in the by, meaning that we're creating it, we're doing what we want to. Because we don't have to do it. We could just talk. Just talk.
Yeah. Okay. I'll accept that. I was just trying to make that, what's it called?
And not analogy.
It starts with
What
an
is
A.
It is it's when you get a phrase and then you shorten into its letters.
Anagram? Something gram, right?
I can't think of the word.
Acronym.
Acronym, yeah.
Yeah.
You're trying to
I was trying to make an acronym. Puffable. A play on Fubu. That famous clothing brand.
Why have I heard that before? Have you told me about it?
Fubu?
Yeah.
Yeah. It came out during F-Boy Pete.
So yeah, Ruthless Romantics out now.
Are they still a thing? Did we talk about that?
We did. I don't know if they're still selling any shirts.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, so then now my only question is, so then what category should I put us in? Because I have to put us in some category. Not as in like what we talk about. I mean like actually digitally when I go to iTunes or whatever, I need to put us in a category.
I don't know why, and I don't know this, but I would have to say, or would have to assume that there's a category under general.
I think that would fall under people and blogs. Because I wanted to put stories, but we're not really. We're not really stories.
We're not telling stories. We're not.
I mean, we are, but it's not what we do primarily. So I think it would just go under.
You can pick more than one, or you have to pick one.
From what I know, you have to pick one. I think iTunes just.
But can you only pick one?
Yeah.
Oh, whack. Because sometimes we say some funny stuff, and we laugh.
And then I bring it up because when a viewer would search for a show, not us, but just shows in general, when they would go into a comedy, into a history, into a political, they're going in there for a specific reason, because they want to hear something political, or they want to hear history, or they want to hear stories.
Just put us under sex.
I don't think that's a category.
Oh, yes, it is.
It is?
Yeah.
Huh.
There's, I forgot why I went down this
I'm sure you did.
Rabbit hole.
I'm sure you did.
Oh, no. I know exactly why.
Yeah, I got you. I'll set the scene. So you were there at home. Nice. Quiet. Cold. The breeze was flowing into your room. And you were sitting in a position where you were laying down, but your neck was a bit exposed. And the wind that was flowing into your room happened to just gently tickle the side of your neck. And then you felt away about that. And then, you know, when you get that like chill shiver, like, ugh, it's cold. This was more of like a erotic shiver. Then you had your phone to the right of you in arm's reach. You got it. You're like, man, let me see what's in these internet streets. Start scrolling. Huh. Podcasts. All right. Oh, they have a sex. And as you went to click the incognito mode, you looked at the podcast chart and you said, man, fuck this. X videos it is.
Nah.
Oh, okay.
It was actually for scientific purposes.
Okay.
Nah, on Armchair Expert, Dax had a sex doctor.
Are they called sexologists?
Sexologist, something like that. Basically, it was an Experts on Experts podcast, and he had Dr. Alex Katakis, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she had her own podcast, and they were talking about consent and all these things. So I was like, oh, I should probably check it out. Very educational.
Mm-hmm.
She has a bunch of different ones talking about reasons why something pleasurable could be painful, and kind of goes into like the psychological aspect of, you know, erotica. It was cool.
Is that a word, erotica?
Mm-hmm.
And a name.
Stripper name, probably.
Or a guy stripper name. Erod. Erod.
I feel like you'd have to have a piece on you to be E-Rod.
Thanks.
P-Rod. Oh, man. Yeah, just put us under sex.
I really don't know if that's a cat. Actually, it might be. I have to check. I don't know if that's a category.
Pretty sure it is, because there's a buttload of podcasts that have to do with sex.
Yeah, but that's not what we're going to talk about. Primarily, I mean. I'll see if there's a general. I think it'll probably go under people, blogger, general. So then that's a category. So then, So I don't want to get off this yet. How are we gonna? Or let me ask you, how are you? Yeah, I guess how are we gonna choose the topics? And I'm gonna ask you specifically, how are you gonna choose your topics? And I ask because I want to see how you approach it, and then I'll tell you how I think I'll approach it.
Well, I already know. Let me tell you my secret. I live my life, man. Just live my life. I go out my front door every morning and observe, take in the experience of a new day. And what happened? When was it? Friday morning? I smelled nothing but smoke. I said, oh no. I hope Pedro's okay because our podcast studio's over there. But then I found out not really, but whatever. Just overall experience. And then nothing fun happens in my life or tragic or anything important enough for me to want to talk about. Twitter, baby. Twitter. I'm one of those, I'm like a Twitter troll. And I say like because I don't have a picture. I don't have any followers. I don't follow anybody. But I never tweet. So I don't actually troll anybody or comment on anybody's things. But I just look at whatever's trending. And if it's catchy, I'll read it. And then that's like a talking point. But I do that throughout the week.
All right.
Yeah. I no longer use Facebook because I found that every time I went on it, you know how they always kind of just promote these videos to you or like recommend videos?
They do?
Yeah. Or like they recommend things for you to like interact with, like articles, videos, specific posts.
It's at the top of the timeline when you start scrolling down.
And it's very negative. It's always a cop pulling somebody over, being a dick, or somebody being a dick to cops. It's always road rage things. It's always just something of some attack, like just negative things that just kind of like every time I get caught up in it and I see them, it just makes me not happy.
Yeah.
And then by obviously other people talking about it, then it came to light that Facebook has this algorithm where they kind of just throw stuff at you that kind of gets you upset so that you interact more, because they found that when you are upset, you tend to turn into a keyboard warrior and start to like fight over the internet.
Yeah, it gets more clicks, more views.
So yeah, so I said fuck that. I don't want to go on Facebook. Because I have found that it makes me upset.
So then what are you saying? That's how you would... Yeah, what do you...
I don't know. I would never comment regardless. Ever.
No, but about the talking... About your process of...
Oh, yeah.
That's what
I'm saying. So that I wouldn't use Facebook as a resource for me to get talking points, because then I just come out with negative things. And shit that I'm probably gonna be all like pumped about because I'm in the moment, but I really don't want to talk about them because it doesn't make any sense for us to talk about them. I don't want to waste my time talking about it. And yeah, So Facebook is not a good source.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm questioning your sources not to question them, just to see what you would do. Because, yeah, I don't know how I would pick a topic. Pick some. Not, I don't even like saying topic because then it sounds like we're gonna come in with something, and I want to come in with nothing, but I don't want to be unprepared, which sounds kind of weird. I want to be prepared coming in with nothing.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I get you.
So I'm trying to see how you would do it, because I can say, oh, I'm gonna look at. I could look at the news. I could look at trending topics here on Twitter. I could look at trending topics here. I could look at maybe trending films. Go to different specific not journal. What are they called? Websites that focus on specific topics, like websites that focus on film, websites that focus on the news, websites that focus on this. Then I could look at what's the most interesting to me, and then I could pick it and then bring it in. But then it feels like how it felt before, like we're doing the same thing and picking a topic. So that's why I said I want to come in here prepared, but without anything.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't make sense when I say it, but
I get you. I don't know. I feel like I just know myself, so I know. That's weird to say, because obviously you know me, other people know me, but I know myself. And I'm not saying it in a sense where like I know myself, like, oh, spiritually or anything like that. I'm more talking about like I know what's going on with me and what's going on in my life. We're in October right now, so you know what I'm saying. Like I'm just I'm gonna bring my topics by experiencing life. It's makes it kind of easy because we're in October. Okay, Halloween is coming up. We can talk about things that come up that have to do with Halloween. That makes it easy. If we're in November, Thanksgiving, December, Christmas, New Year's, all these things, all different events or specific dates we're looking forward to. That makes it way easier for me.
Yeah. I'm a little worried about that because I don't want to. Shouldn't say I don't want to. I don't know if us talking purely on our experiences would make other people want to listen. Because if I was listening to John and Patrick just talking about what they were going through, then I don't see why I should listen. I don't see why I should continue listening to just them talking about themselves. So that's what I mean. Now, when you brought up Fighter and the Kid and Dax Shepard, they can do that. And I think you can do that when you're more popular and you have a following, because then people are more interested and invested in you, that they do want to hear your opinion. But I think that happens later when you can purely do that. Like if and here's an example. If any celebrity that you know that has over, let's say, 1 million followers, any celebrity starts a podcast, it's almost guaranteed that they're going to get a certain amount of viewers. Maybe it's 10,000, maybe it's 20,000, maybe it's 100,000, just because they're a fan of what they did previous and they just want to follow them. But we don't have any fans yet. That
we have some fans.
Yeah. No, we do, but I don't know if we have
like those diehard stans.
No, I don't want to say that either. I don't know if they just want us to talk about ourselves yet. Purely. I lost my train of thought. But did that all make sense?
No, I get what you're saying. You make a very, very good point.
I'm not against what you're saying. I just, you know what I feel like? I feel like we're a knight going in a battle, and what you're telling me is, let's go in without our armor. If I was to make a visual example, I feel like that's what you're saying. And in a sense, you're right, because that would make us more flexible and able to do more stuff. But at the same time, now we're a little bit more exposed. Don't try to think too hard on the example. It was just a visual aid.
It was a good one.
So that's
as soon as you said going into battle, I was like, I would use something else. But no, that's a good one.
So that's what I mean. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just I don't know. I feel like and I don't know what it like. There's something missing. And you know what I think it is? I think it's originality. I think it's if we do something new, then I think that would give us a leg up. Like if we wanted to be to gain a large following, just focus on that, no podcast, no nothing. If we wanted a large following and Facebook, Twitter, and all these were out, we could try going on those and doing videos and whatever and try to get popular. But like I said, to be like original or to have something that's new, let's say TikTok just got released and we're the first ones on it, and the goal is to gain a following. Now we're the first ones on it, and we start making videos, and that's how we build it from there, and then we can expand into Instagram, Facebook, and etc. So with the podcast, that's why I feel like what you're telling me is let's build up Facebook, Instagram, and this. But what I'm saying is let's do that, but let's do something new that would help us and really push us to build it faster. Not faster, but yeah, I guess faster.
So now it's just a matter of figuring out what that new thing is.
Yeah.
Because we're too late for the TikTok train.
I wouldn't say that either, and that was just an example.
I know.
But yeah, I think that was clear. I hope that was clear.
No, it is. Just because I know exactly what you're talking about. And I would say we're late for the TikTok train just because it's so overpopulated with everyone has already migrated to TikTok.
I don't think so. I think there's a lot of people that still don't know about it, but that's something completely different.
Like as in that content creators? Yeah, a lot of them have already migrated to it.
Oh, yeah. But I'm saying that because it's still new, people can still gain popularity from it. Yeah, as the days go by, it's getting more and more populated.
I think it's harder for guys to get a following.
Depends how they approach it. I think it's easier for pretty girls to get a following. But then I would say it depends how they approach it.
I think it's...
Yeah, what do you mean by that? Well, I know what you mean, but what are you trying to ask exactly? I feel like there's a underlying question that you want to ask.
It was kind of like an impulsive, just blurted out question. Oh. But if we want to get deep, I think we'd kind of would have some handicaps in growing a following.
What would those handicaps be?
We're not pretty girls. So we're not gonna be flashing our booties to get, eyes and likes and all that. I wouldn't say we're super fashionable or at all. Because that fashionable, or people that dress nice, guys that dress nice have tend to have a nice following. Those that are more athletically sculpted, or people that put out funny stuff.
I would argue against all those three. I'm not saying that it's not true, but it depends what they do. Just because they're fit doesn't mean they can have a following. Because there's a whole bunch of fit guys and a lot of them don't have followings. And just because they put out funny stuff doesn't mean they get popular. It depends on the funny stuff and how often and who it is, and it depends on a bunch of stuff. That's why I said I think it's the approach, and more so it would probably depend on the person as well. Yeah, if we're gonna go deep into this, it would depend on a lot of things.
Too many variables.
Yeah, that's why when you said did you say pretty girls have a?
No, I didn't say pretty. I just said do girls have an easier chance of growing a following than?
Right. And I said pretty girls, and I think they do have an advantage, but that advantage depends on. When I say approach, I mean what they're gonna post. Because if it's a pretty girl posting about her ass, then I think they would have a bigger advantage over someone else posting about social change in the community. But then it depends on the person posting the social change, who they are. If there's someone that's famous and already has a following, or if there's someone just starting out, just posting like what they're doing in the community, then maybe they might get a community following, but I don't know if it would grow even bigger.
Mm-hmm. Or we could just grow our following by talking shit. That's a quick way.
Do we want to grow?
Well, yeah, why not?
I was gonna ask. You know what? There was something I was gonna ask you. Oh, it was from last week. I remember. I asked you, why do you think this was? Why do you think we should have more followers or something? Why are we successful? Something along those lines. And
I think I said we should be more successful because I believe that we put out good stuff and our views doesn't reflect what we put out. And you said the opposite.
Right. And then I remember you said something ego, but I remember you didn't answer my question. Besides, what was the question exactly? I don't remember the question exactly, but your response was ego. And then I answered the opposite. But I still, what do you mean by ego? Well, I guess I would have to remember the question. I don't remember what the question was. The question was either, why do you think we should have more views, or why do you think that our podcast is successful? No, it wasn't that. I think, why do you think the past episodes were good? Something along those lines.
I don't remember.
Anyway, I bring it up now because, well, I was hoping you would explain it more, because all you said was ego and you think that the episodes were good. But then that was it.
I don't know. I think we because we didn't dwell on it. We just kept moving on.
No, yeah, we moved on. I just didn't know.
Are you asking me now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So because of ego, you want me to elaborate on ego?
Yeah, that's the question I'm asking now.
I don't know, just who I am as a person. I think I don't know how to elaborate on it. My ego, I believe it's big. I'm big-headed. I don't know. Humble but big-headed. I would describe myself that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of where I ended up as well. Is like, I was just thinking, why, not why, but what do you mean by that? That's what I was thinking. What does he mean by that? Because I know what the word ego means, but I was like, it's just kind of, I didn't understand it.
Did you feel that I was just throwing out the word to say it? Like if I didn't understand what ego...
No. Not that you didn't understand what the word ego meant. Just that it felt like, not that the word was wrong, but that, I don't know, the explanation was just, it just confused me. Because ego could mean a lot of things. Because then I could say the episodes are, no, hold on, let me change it to something else. I think my shoes are the best shoes because of my ego. And then, to me, I could mean that because of how I wear these shoes, they're good. Or ego could mean that because of who I am, they're good. Or ego could mean that because of who gave them to me, that they're the best shoes. They're like different explanations to the same answer. So that's why I said I didn't know I guess I didn't know how you were approaching the word ego when you said it. That's where the confusion
All
was.
three of those examples did not make any sense to me. How did they fit with ego?
Yeah, because ego means that you have you have this idea of self-importance, of self-grandeur on yourself.
Yeah, but I don't think shoes would be the correct approach, because you didn't make those shoes. In the sense I'm talking about, we made them.
But you don't have to make something to have ego, do you? Yeah, I don't think you
Because it
have.
just has to be about yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying it in the sense of like, because it's me,
Mm-hmm.
I feel it would be better because it's not theirs.
I got you. That's where I got confused, and that explanation was super clear.
So narcissistic would be a better word.
Okay. Okay. It's not that it was a big deal. It's that the word was confusing me, and I just didn't know how you were approaching it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well then, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do that. Or we could just give them something to hate.
So then what's going to be our bio? And then the bio ties into the... So we'll talk about whatever we talk about. The category I put us in, I'll have to look, but I'll choose something, probably people, blogs, or general, or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then what about the bio? The bio now is focused on film, television, reviews, and storytelling.
Right.
So how would you change it? What would you want our bio to be?
You have at the very end, I believe it's still along the lines of like deep conversation or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember verbatim what the words are.
A fusion of storytelling and ideas. If you something
Thought provoking or something. I don't know.
Spark imagination, then 2 mics and some thieves will satisfy your desire.
Yes, I like the spark imagination.
I like the ending. It's just for sure the beginning needs to change. It has to change because it's not going to be film, movie, television, etc.
Because this is the way I see it. Like if we're talking about our experiences or with specific things, and we're kind of staying current with what's going on with current events, when people kind of search because they want to hear other people talk about it, because maybe they don't know what's going on, they haven't experienced it, or whatever it is that we're talking about, maybe them hearing us talk about it, describing said topic, then I don't know, might just be good enough where they stick, or it'll at least get them to like click on it once.
I'm not gonna lie, I missed the first half. I just zoned out looking at you. I don't know what it was. Your voice just sounded like soothing for a second. I started to fall asleep and drift away. I have no idea what you said right now. Zero idea. All I heard was and I'm not even playing. What I recall from what you just said is, and they can click on it, and so then they could get back. And that's all I heard. Could you say it again? That was my fault. That wasn't you explaining it. I zoned out. I straight up zoned out. I have no idea what you said.
Oh, man. It was along the lines of us talking about our experiences. So when people look up, as long as we kind of keep up with current events, when people look things up, we might pop up as a suggestion, and they'll click on it and hear us talk about it, and maybe they happen to be searching for it because they're thinking of maybe trying said thing, or they want more information, something, and maybe hearing one of our points of views might get them to keep coming back, or at the very least just click on it once.
Okay. Yeah. But then that depends on the current event that we're talking about. And I think that would happen because if they're searching for something specifically, the more popular podcast or anything else would probably show first, and then we would probably show last. So I don't know if... No, we would probably... So when you said that, then I'm thinking you want it to be current, dependent. You want to talk about current events. Because then, because of those, then they would rank us not higher, but more specifically on the search bar or wherever people search for something.
Yeah. Because I'm like...
I feel like you want to talk about current events. Like you want that to be a...
Well,
not the main thing, but...
Go with the times, basically.
Yeah.
We're not going to sit here in July with Christmas hats on talking about something that happened, like having to do with Christmas.
Yeah, and I bring it up not to say...
very out of context.
Yeah, I'm not saying let's not do it. I'm just saying we can do it, but I would want to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I'm not against it, just... What I wouldn't want to do is just come in, the fire happened, we talk about the fire, then that's it.
That just piss people off.
That actually would work. I know you're not serious, but if you were serious,
I'm serious.
That really would work.
That's how shop shit is so popular. All they do is they come to his page just to talk shit to him.
Do they?
Yeah.
Jeez.
They just shit on him. That's literally all it is. People just come shit on him. It's the funniest thing. It's really funny. I probably pay more attention to it than I should, but...
You follow it? That page where... What is it? His Instagram, Facebook?
His Instagram, the comments on YouTube for the King and the Sing. Mm-hmm. All that is just roasting him.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's really funny. But that specific podcast is all just roasting, making fun of everything. But he gets it more just because everyone blames him for them taking down all the UFC streams, like all the illegal streams. They blame him for
yeah, those streams were amazing.
A lot of things, man.
You know what? I think we should just start doing episodes and just figure it out.
Trial by error.
Yeah. Well, it will be trial by error, but it will be more... We already know what we're going to do. Not a step-by-step plan, but a guide as to what to do. So now we just do it. Because we know we're not going to be a political or... We have a guide.
100% we're not going to talk politics. Bores me.
Really? I wanted to bring in some politics stuff. Especially with the presidential campaign heating up.
I don't believe you.
Scorching up Twitter.
I don't believe you. There's no way you follow it enough to want to bring it up.
I do follow it enough to bring it up, not to be super detailed about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't follow anything. That's a lie. I know a little bit, but not enough to say I can talk about it. I know stuff about specific people, but not about like it all across the board where I can be like, well, this person's right because this isn't this, and this person supports the opposite, blah, blah, blah.
Well, it just depends how you bring it up. Because we could talk about the protests in China, but we're not going to talk about the specific candidates and the laws and all this stuff. We'll just be like, yo, this is happening in China. and it has to do with surveillance and privacy. What do you think about privacy?
See, I wouldn't say that's politics, though. When you say politics, I'm thinking you're talking about the president, whatever happened in the when Congress was in session, or all that.
Oh, I think you're focusing in specifically on like the little details about it.
Well, when you say politics, that's immediately where my mind goes.
It's
Sacramento, DC, all that branch of government. I know obviously politics is way more than that. It's an umbrella of all these things. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see everything else as politics.
Oh, you zeroed in real quick. I meant big idea. Like us, you interacting with another person could be politics. Or at your workplace, that could be politics. The structure.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's
out.
Politics on everything. But it's weird because my mind usually never zeroes in on things. I never go to extremes, but with this, I guess I do. Learn something new about myself every day.
Nah, I would say you zero in on things all the time.
I zero in on things?
Yeah.
Like what?
Like little details. On big ideas. The specifics to something. I would say that's the norm.
For me?
Yeah.
I think the opposite.
Can you give me an example? I'll give you an example.
Okay, give me an example.
Right now, what just happened? But before that, when I was, I remember one time I was explaining to you I blanked. Convenient time to blank, huh? Convenient time. Yeah, it was convenient. But I was looking at the reflection and then I saw that and then.
Would you say you're the opposite then? I think you zero in on it. Or you go to extremes real quick.
Yeah, but I wasn't talking about extremes. I meant details.
Damn, I'll be thinking about that now.
Yeah, nothing to do with extremes. I meant like the details of something.
Say one topic. First topic that comes to your head.
Mesopotamia.
And it doesn't work because I'm unsure what that is.
Oh, I thought of the Nile River. The ancient city of Mesopotamia.
Yeah.
Another topic. Germany.
Germany.
I just thought of two things.
Tomorrowland and Hitler. And beer. Oktoberfest.
See, that's a perfect example of you zeroing on something specific. My first thought was the Berlin Wall and Nazis. But you see how you said Hitler? You went to a specific. You said beer? That's very specific. And that's what I mean. You like go in on specific topics. And I do too. It's just that in that example, the first thing that came to my mind when I think of Germany is Nazis. And then the Berlin Wall.
I guess by the words that I said can make you think that. But when I said Hitler, I wasn't actually thinking about Hitler. I was thinking about Nazis. But when you say Hitler, it's directly.
I said Germany.
Well, when anybody says Hitler, the first thing you associate Hitler with is Nazis. Mm-hmm. So that's why I said Hitler. I could easily just said Nazis to go straight to Nazis, but I associate Nazis with Hitler, so that's why I said Hitler. But you
didn't say it.
Okay, but it's not because I was specifically talking about Senor Adolf Hitler.
He has a senor in the front?
No, I'm just... Oh. And Tomorrowland. Should I just have said rave?
No, there's nothing wrong with what you said. It's just... Sometimes you zero it... You're quicker to zero in on the specifics than the main ideas. Sometimes. Actually, fuck that. I'm not going to say sometimes. No, you zero in on details.
Is that a good thing or bad thing?
No,
that's all I want to know.
No, it's neither good nor bad. It's just what I've noticed. not against it or they have no problem with it.
So that's what it'll be. Zeroing in.
And then we'll change the podcast name, The Zero and the Hero. Nah, the zero sounds like it's a negative thing when it's next to the word hero.
True. You saying calling when you said zero as a negative,
Mhm.
I immediately thought to that one time we were at Tonka's house and I told him to send a text message, dump the chump.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
He
yeah.
sent it.
Wait, what is that? What does that have to do with zero?
It just came to my mind just because zero and hero. So I immediately associated that with Tonka saying, dump the chump, come mess with the real one. So the chump was the zero, Tonka was the hero.
And the negative was what he did. That's the real deeper thing. All right. I see what you really feel.
Damn. Shout out Tonka.
All right, we're short on time. Let's get to the real issue. The real issue is I'm not even worried about topics. Honestly, I know I'll kill it. I know I'll kill it. I'm not even worried. The truth is I'm worried about you. I feel like you might get lost because there'll be so much information that you won't know how to condense it and choose your specific topics.
I have to disagree. I think I'd manage.
We'll see.
But I don't have to come with this whole questions prepared and knowing answers to my questions.
No, well, we're not going to do that anymore.
Yeah, I know, but that's why. So when I now that we don't have to do that, I'm a lot more confident in my ability to come prepared to talk.
Oh shit, I did that for both you and for me because I thought that would help us narrow down things specifically. And it did help me. But then it just, I would take a lot more time because I would have to go through everything and then condense it.
No, that just made it hellish.
Really?
It made it unfun.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, in some instances, it would help me understand what I was talking about more, but half the time it was just kind of a waste of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that I'll probably just cut off the front part of the bio and just leave the back part, and then change it a little bit. Keep it kind of not alluding to the fact that it has to do with sharing ideas, creating ideas, imagination, something like that. But I do want to do something newer, add something like music, or I think I've said it before, like a green screen. And it doesn't have to be either of those things. Just add something to make it different. I don't know what that would be.
We need something aesthetically more pleasing as well.
What do you mean?
Yeah, like the green screen. You can digitally give us a background that's aesthetically more pleasing, probably.
Well, it depends how we use it. It could be used for a background, or it could be used to like put it in between the space and then use that kind of like it's, you know, when there's podcasts, you look at a TV, we would look there and maybe we could hear the audio and then I could play the video there. So we won't see it, but in the video it would show.
Mm-hmm.
But
Wait, wouldn't we have to see it? I think it's just in the final recording that we can't put it.
Right. So we would have to either have known it before, have seen it before, and we're just hearing it, so we know it. It depends how we use it. Yeah. I also don't want to add anything that would confuse us more. I want to focus more on, I guess, the story of the podcast rather than adding all these different things. Because I could edit it more, add colors, add special effects, and add a whole bunch of bullshit, but it won't matter if...
Give us the ESPN timeline.
What do you mean?
The bottom line on ESPN. Where it'll Like it changes every time we come up with a new topic.
Yeah.
And then as the new topic passes, it just like goes down, and this one goes.
Yeah. See, we could do that. I just don't want that to take away from what we're saying.
To be like the defining thing of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we do that, something to be defining, then we need to go in on that. But I would like to focus more on what we speak about instead of the production of everything.
Just rename the podcast into Intelligence, and our niche would be we do the podcast in pinstripe suits all the time. With a Z though.
But then the camera would have to be from our lower halves up, because then pinstripe above, shorts in the bottom.
Yeah.
Would you say to Intelligence?
With the Z at the end.
With the Z.
And you talk country, and I talk with a English accent.
Actually, I'm gonna go with a Alaskan accent.
It's an Alaskan accent.
You don't know it?
No.
Guess you'll find out on the episode.
There it is. There it is. Stay tuned. Halloween episode's gonna be lit.
Gonna capture the Alaskan bullworm.
Damn. We're too...
Mike's and some theories.
Damn. I mean, yeah. That would have been the perfect outro right there. Like, boom, cut. I was actually gonna say we're too old now.
What do you mean?
Yeah, the Alaskan bullworm. That's from SpongeBob, huh?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just talking about what they have over there.
Super old. Alaskan bullworm. Yeah, it's from SpongeBob.
I don't even watch that, honestly.
If you say so. So how do we end it? Are we ending it? What are we doing?
Well, so then we've decided to...
My niche is just going to be, I'm going to be wearing funny socks.
Okay.
That's what... I have my feet crossed all the time, so... Today, I'm a chick magnet.
Yeah, so then I guess we'll figure it out in the next episodes.
Yeah.
By doing. So we'll see how it goes in. Categories, not sure the bio will change. And then I think the title, what do you think about the title as in the name of it and the logo?
The box?
Well, the actual logo, you mean the YouTube box?
Yeah.
Well, that too.
On the videos, I like how it just goes whoosh. I've always liked that one. And it's just simple.
No, the actual logo. The Instagram logo, the one that's on Twitter, Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying, should we keep it the same or should we change it? Should we keep the title the same or should we change it?
What do you mean by title?
Two Mics and Some Theories. I think we could just keep it the same unless you want to change it.
Yeah, we could keep it the same. The only thing that I guess came up to be a problem was just when people searched us, they couldn't find us because they were putting number 2 instead of the Roman numeral 2, which made it difficult. And I had to kind of explain that. No, you gotta put 2 I's. And it just...
Yeah.
I feel like that's also a handicap in our searches, but...
Yeah, that was a concern. But if you think about it, that also is what makes the search unique.
Very true, because we are the only ones that come up whenever you type in 2 I's.
Right. So just... I see what you mean. And I remember at the beginning that was a concern.
Yeah.
Where I told people, I would say 2 Mics and Some Theories, and it was either the TWO or the number 2 that always came that people would go to before the II, the Roman numeral. So it just we can change it if you want. It just
No.
depends.
Is there any way to put keywords?
Yeah. It's in the tags.
That's what I'm saying. The tags. In the tags, we can just add the number 2 and then TWO.
Mm-hmm.
That might help. That might be the easy solution.
Okay. Then I think. So then before we go, how's the transition coming for you, getting ready for the November 22nd?
It's
the date is closing in. Today's the what? Today's the 12th.
12.
So it's closing in. It's less than 2 months away. So how's the transition going?
I knew it was gonna be difficult at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I can be ready, but I might have to solicit some help. But I should be about at the point where, like in a relay race, like the 4x4 or the 4x100,
Mm-hmm.
you know how we had our marks to line up, and if let's say I was the anchor, you were the third man. As you're coming around the corner, we're about at the point where you're about to hit that mark where I start running.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time the baton is handed over, I should be at about the same or just right before the speed, where I just take off and get going.
Mm-hmm.
But just in case, maybe there's a small chance that I will have to solicit some help for the first couple weeks. But no, we're good. We're going good.
Just still long, solid a month and 2 weeks away.
Mm-hmm.
Still a solid amount of time. Still a long time, actually. So should be okay. But we'll see when that date comes. It was the 22nd. You might have to double check that, but I know it's November something, late November. But yeah. So then I guess this is the last PFTP. We have not a plan. I guess you could say a plan. It's more like a guide of what not to do, what we don't want to do. And then the next one, which is execute on what we are going to do and start from there. All right. And with that, sign us off.
Toodaloo.
Oh, yeah. So how are we going to end it?
I don't know. I feel like you have the opposition, or you're opposed to me just doing the.
Kind of. It sounds kind of scripted and like you're forcing it.
There should always just be an abrupt ending.
It could be.
Like literally how I was like, "Where to?" and then you just kind of cut me off. That could have been the perfect ending.
Mike's and some theories. Bye. And then it goes, and then it goes into the subscribe thing.
Yeah.
Well,
or
I guess if
leave them in some type of suspense. End off with a like story. Heat it up. And I'm about to tell you the outcome. The screen goes black. Power outage.
Music plays in the background. That gust of wind that Steven felt in his room, he starts to feel it again. And from it, he becomes erotica.
Erotico.
I still don't know if that's a word.
That's straight up a word.
Erotica. It sounds like a nightclub.
It's a genre. And yeah, it's a real word.
Well, the camera's about to die. So, 2 Mics and some theories. Bye.
Adios. Peace.